What up, folks? I am Jaby Koay, joined by SYNTELL, and we're back for our Frozen 2 spoiler discussion. Here we go. We're gonna start off with IMDB. Anna, Elsa, Kristoff, Olaf, and Sven leave Arendelle to travel to an ancient, autumn-bound forest of an enchanted land. They set out to find the origin of Elsa's powers in order to save their kingdom. This film suddenly tries to introduce a lot of lore in the first 20 minutes, including some stuff that was very overtly Last Airbender. They literally called it out. You said earth, wind,
fire,
and water. Yeah, like they literally call. I mean, they're the four primary elements of Earth, I guess, right? And so naturally, it's gonna be the same. You predicted that there was gonna be an Avatar, which it essentially was. I mean, literally, Elsa is the Avatar. She has to stop this impending doom, a la The Rock coming towards Earth in Airbender. The Doomsday was so, it wasn't a good payoff.
No,
you know?
No, it fell completely flat. The Doomsday itself is a dam.
Yeah.
It's a damn, man, damn. Really? That's the big thing? A dam?
Well, you and I were even confused about what was going on, and maybe that was because of the acoustics of the El Capitan Theater, because there are certain things that we couldn't hear.
Okay.
Yeah, like Olaf was saying certain things, and some people were laughing, and you and I were like, I don't know what.
What did he even say?
Yeah, the echoey room. My impression was these, I'm gonna call them the colonists, right? They erected this,
colonizers.
They erected this dam as a gift, much like the French giving America the Statue of Liberty or something like that, right? It's a gift, here you go. That's all they tell you at the beginning, and later on you find out that it's like inhibiting the powers of this place, and this mist has come over, this dam needs to be destroyed in order to restore balance. What we find out is the grandfather king made this bridge to get there because he didn't like the magical people and they need to be taken out. Kind of like Maleficent, right? Like you just gotta take these people out because they're magic, and therefore magic is evil. That's it, that's all I got, but you got something else out of it.
I know a dam serves one of two purposes. It's either going to stop the flooding of some large area of space, or it's used to make electricity. So you're going to give a piece of technology to a people whose whole foundation is based around like primitive things. Earth, fire, wind, water. They use nature in order to move things around. So off top, you already know that's a bad thing.
Right.
The dam is a bad thing. It's not natural.
Right.
They're not really using electricity, and they live in an area where it's not going to necessarily be flooded. So it's like, well, why does this piece need to even be here? What I concluded is that, okay, well, they're not going to be using the electricity. There was a lot of reference to like this flooded plains area where the city exists.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, you are messing it up for these naturalized people in order to keep the city up and running. You're this evil man, and now your evil is going to directly affect the citizens for the city that you built. There's a problem.
Right.
And that problem is the city that you're protecting is now a part of the evil that you represent.
Right.
So there's a scene where the dam breaks, the dam breaks, and all the water comes flooding down, and it's coming to wash away the city. And here comes Elsa. She swings in as the Avatar, pushes the water away. Everybody's happy. Yay! There's been no
Penance.
Penance.
That was the word you used.
No restitution.
Yeah.
For the sins of the grandfather. The sins of the grandfather, that water should have washed away the city because it is a product of what he represents.
Right. And then Elsa has the power to just rebuild a new city.
And that's the thing. I'm like, you have the power. Okay, first off, she's already the Frost Queen, which is great.
Yeah.
And now you're the Avatar. So you got wind, fire, earth,
everything.
Water, everything.
Yeah.
You got all the elements. Wash the city away and then build it anew from the goodness of your heart.
Yeah. What you have here is the parable of the white people, right? The idea is to make the white audience reflect. That's my impression of it. You have to acknowledge the sins of your ancestors and move forward. But the thing is, there, like you said, there's no retribution, there's no penance for it. It's just like, well, we acknowledged it. It's kind of like the pink ribbon for cancer. It's like, we acknowledge that it exists, like, but what is that? What is next? Because there's something that needs to follow, and nothing quite followed that. It's just like, we acknowledged it, cool. Took the mist off the place because we destroyed the dam. Y'all are good, right? We're deuces out. And it's like, no, that's not, she could have easily rebuilt. There's so many problems with that. I'm realizing as you say that, the rich white people have the resources to build again.
Yes.
To help pay the penance and build and rebuild, right? They've got the power to do that, the wealth. And yet they maintain their city and everything's hunky-dory now.
Nobody learned anything.
Nobody learned anything, yeah. Well, there's a positive aspect to this though. Elsa and Anna are products of people who are from different tribes.
Right.
You know, one is from the colonizer kingdom and the other's from the Inuit tribe, right? And so even though they look white as white can be, and their mom looks white as white can be, they're a hybrid. They're hybrid children. And I think that's a cool message because that's eventually all of us. We're all gonna be a lighter version of SYNTELL in the future.
Just not as hot.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so that message is cool. I think there's a lot of cool messages in here.
Yeah, I love the message of change is the only certainty.
Yeah.
When you're dealing with change, it's good to deal with it with your loved ones, but there's also going to be moments where you're gonna have to deal with it yourself. I think that was a really big tone in the movie. Everything was happy and happily ever after from the first Frozen, but now there's growth.
Yeah.
There's growth. And then there's a really good tone that the little snowman does. Olaf.
Yeah.
And that is, everything is crazy right now. The world is burning and turning. And I won't understand it until I get older.
Right.
And all of us kind of like walk that journey sometimes. It's like, okay, I don't really understand what's going on. The world is crumbling around me. I'm gonna just keep moving forward. And that's kind of like what Olaf does throughout the entire show. But then, there comes a point where you're gonna have to deal with your shit or understand what it is that's being presented in front of you.
Well, it deals with the question of mortality, right? Because he's like, well, we're not gonna live forever, right? And I can't wait to be a grown-up and I'll understand all of this.
Right.
Because we all can relate to that moment. Like Joe Rogan's got a whole bit about that where he's like, when you're not a grown-up yet, you think adults got it figured out. And then suddenly you're 25 at the checkout line and someone calls you sir, and you're like, what the fuck? How did we get here? Sir, wait, I'm a grown-up? Oh, we're screwed. That's sort of the realization there. And I think kids are getting smarter much younger than like when we were kids.
Yes.
And so there's this realization they're having that they're peeking into adulthood a lot mentally, a lot quicker than we did because the information is coming to them much more easily and more fluidly. They got their phone, they can see Twitter, they can see whatever, Instagram, the news and whatnot. They can see the world's on fire and they have to go, well, hopefully this all makes sense someday. Like Olaf. And I love that. I love that aspect of the story. I think his touch on this story was perfect. You had mentioned Kristoff. You had mentioned how you felt like he didn't really add anything to the story.
He was absolutely useless. He spent the entire story chasing after Elsa's sister.
Anna.
Her name Anna. Yeah, he spent the entire story chasing after Anna, and he didn't really contribute anything.
He had that great 80s music video, though.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah.
That was great. It's like an old Backstreet Boys video. Not even that. It was like an old, Guns N' Roses video
and
from
Queen.
back in 85. Yeah.
They had a Queen moment in there.
That was good. They did take some liberties and poke some fun at themselves over kind of like the over ridiculousness of the music. I think they went way over the top in this one with the music.
Well, the problem with Frozen's music is there's no earworms. It's just music for the sake of being music. In terms of the rules of a musical, it makes sense. It's like they're using music to guide the story forward, but it's supposed to be that the song helps illustrate the story more easily than if they were just doing dialogue. And I think it does accomplish that, but the thing is, there's no songs that I go, that's in my brain and I wanna, like Little Mermaid music, Aladdin music, Lion King music, all that stuff. Like, if you go back and listen to those songs, they're all earworms and they stay in your brain and you wanna sing them too. Whereas there was not a single song here that did that for me except for Lost in the Woods. The one we were just talking about. That was the only one where I'm like, I'd go back and listen to that song. That's a fun song. And so that problem carried over from Frozen 1.
How did you feel about the elements themselves and the objects and or creatures that represented those elements?
Okay, so this is one of the big problems with the movie, right? Is the humans, or the colonizers, I'm just calling them that for short. It's just easier, because that's the fundamental idea, right? They erect this structure, and it's like, why did the magical people even need that when they can bend rock? It doesn't make any sense. And if they can bend rock, why didn't they take that down? Who created the mist, and who was guiding Elsa to the source, or whatever that is, to the source of information? And there was just a lot of questions that were not quite properly answered. I didn't know if it was like the spirit of their mother, the spirit of their father. It was just very ambiguous, and so that part annoyed me. But it's like, if you're a kid, I don't think you're thinking that hard about all that stuff. If you're, under the age of 18, you're probably just like into the adventure of it all. If you go back and watch Frozen 1, there are some weird things that don't make sense in there as well, like the how the politics of that world work, like who's running the kingdom. None of that is really answered properly. It's just kind of like blah. And here you've got another blah situation, but I think that they do a good enough job of keeping you laughing, and you know, the adventure moves along. I actually did get bored a little bit. I did get bored during the, I like found myself yawning a number of times and just going, come on, let's pick this up. And you know, one of the songs I liked, I was actually kind of sleepy at that point, but I was trying to stay in tune with the song because it was actually some good lyrics. Like she's like, you know, I'm in my darkest hour right now, but I gotta stand up. Instead of thinking about the whole journey, I'm gonna think about the next step and the next step and the next step. I'm like, I love that because kids, especially now, really need that shit. Like that's such a great message to impart onto children, and that's stuff we didn't get with Aladdin and Lion King and all those classic cartoons that we like are trying to remake now in live action.
I feel like the undertone of the movie was kind of, you said that children are a lot more mature now.
Yeah.
But to me, it did feel like the undertone of the movie really was for the parents of the kids, of them just dealing with change, or maybe, I don't know.
No, that's fair.
Maybe it's because of my own personal journey in life that it resonated with me. That change is just inevitable, regardless. I don't think you really appreciate how change affects you until you become an adult,
right?
On a real like tangible level, and I think this movie really hits that. Like it really nails that more so than anything else to me. That beat out the uselessness of the dam, the uselessness of some of the characters, the ridiculousness of why these elements just can't solve their own damn problems, the mystery of this mist that came out of nowhere. There's so many other things that seem to distract from the sole purpose, and that is, what are you going to do to move yourself forward?
Yeah.
And then that goes on to, what does that transformation look like? Now, I am a huge Dragon Ball Z fan, and one of the great things about being a Dragon Ball Z fan is knowing that there's power levels.
Yeah.
You know, it's seeing Goku go Super Saiyan, and Elsa has her Super Saiyan moment.
It's terrible. It's terrible. I didn't mean to steal the thunder from you.
No.
It's terrible.
It was meant for, I'm
yeah, it was
giving
terrible.
you the alley-oop. Yes.
Yeah, because like she swoops in and puts up this wall, and it's like, okay, so this could have been epic, and instead it was just like, it just petered out really fast, because instead of putting up a wall, you're dealing with a force of nature coming in. I saw Deep Impact. I know what that shit looks like. It should have been a lot more of a fierce battle, and then she loses anyway. But then she's got to pick herself back up and rebuild. It'll take time, but we're gonna do this together, or not, because she's the Avatar and can just erect structures. You know, she built a whole castle during the course of a song.
Thank you.
Like, what's up? Why is this hard?
Thank you. And you did that with just with ice. Now you got all the tools, baby. You can do it all. Even how it looked, her transition to me kind of dropped the ball. Like they made her dress a little bit prettier.
Yeah.
It missed me. I want to see a real transformation, physical, mental, everything. And that one was just like,
they needed to justify her limitation of power, because when the little cute fire monster was coming around and she was trying to put the fires out, I'm like, this bitch can just drop snow out of the sky. Like, I don't understand why this is so hard. Like, why can't you stop this thing? You know what I'm saying? If she wanted, she could create a blizzard, and yet she can't put this little fire out. It didn't make any sense. There were some elemental creatures that were coming in and out of the film, and I was like, the wind one in particular was a little confusing. I'm like, they gave it a pet name, and I'm like, who? I don't even remember like how this fits into everything. There's a lot going on in this movie.
Right. I took from the wind element, kind of like with Moana and the water, how the ocean was its own character.
Yeah.
But the ocean's character was good in Moana. The wind in this was, it was just in and out, and you didn't really feel any kind of way with it. I didn't really connect with it.
Right. Yeah. The reason why is because the film was trying to do too much. They were pushing so much into the story. This really should have been two different movies, a part 2 and a part 3. Right. I feel like they were just trying to shove so much into the story. And what happens, I think, a lot with the development process is you have new things are coming in, and there's legacy elements in there, and I think there was a lot of legacy elements that were in the story that should have been pulled out. You gotta kill your babies, is the saying. You know that saying?
That's a messed up saying, and where did you hear it from?
Well, I forgot where, it's like a writing saying, because the thing is, you fall in love with these ideas, and they're your babies, and you have to kill them in order to tell a better story.
So they didn't even listen to their own advice about what to do for change.
Yeah. Basically.
Jeez.
Yeah. It's a good message. It's a good message. This is wrought with issues, but it's a good message at the end. And I very much appreciate and applaud the message here. I just wish that the movie was shorter.
It should have been 60 minutes, but it did look good. It looked good.
Did you say 60 minutes?
It should have been 60 minutes.
No.
Yeah.
Not today. Animations are at least 90 minutes.
You know what
now.
that should have been? It should have been like one of those straight to Redbox films. No, that's too much.
Damn.
It's just, I think they could have told that story in 60 minutes.
Well, sure. I mean, you could tell any story in 60 minutes. you could tell Lord of the Rings in 5 if you really want. But
yeah, a bunch of walking and you throw the ring.
Exactly. And they got to the top of the mountain.
I thought it looked good. I thought it sounded well. I think they got all of the basics down. Yeah. You know, it's just some shaky stuff. It's the dam, man. It's the damn. I can't get past the damn.
That really upset you.
It did.
Right from the get-go, that upset you. Like, as soon as you saw it, the city wasn't getting leveled. You're like, oh, fuck this.
I mean, because think about how much better of a payoff it would have been if you totally cleansed everything. You cleanse the sins of the father. You cleanse everything, and then you build from the goodness of your life. How do you waste that opportunity?
Right.
How?
It's inconvenient. You know, it's inconvenient to pay that 40 acres and a mule. But anyway, so moving on. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Be sure to follow SYNTELL on the social media. Do subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that bell icon so you get notified every time we drop another video. Check out our other reactions, reviews, short films, vlogs, and interviews. I'm Jaby Koay. This is...
It's your boy, SYNTELL.
Peace out.